Alright, gonna be recording some 6max reg 200 Haven't made a video in a while, so just working on practicing thought explanation. And I've mainly been playing 100 over the past few months, and I'm looking to probably start playing 200 on the weekends and keeping at 100 on the weekdays for now, so kind of still in the twilight zone between 100 and 200 reg. And gonna see how that works. So I guess overall still pretty new to the pool for sure. Two potential 3-bet options on the bottom two tables. I don't think I'm flatting much versus cutoff in general, even given the smaller size where I'm more incentivized versus a larger size I'm more incentivized to 3-bet. So my assumption is I'm not really even playing flats at all versus cutoff opens. For the most part. I'm sure that can change based on players and dynamics and certain hand classes, but here I think 3-bet's fine. So we'll be doing that. We're opening up ace-8 off top left, and pocket nines will be either v-pipping or 3-betting versus hijack open. Kind of similar to the ace-10 off here. The main plan is just be 3-betting or fold, but if I feel like it, or if I have some assumption that dynamics indicate throwing in some flats, we'll entertain that idea. So an open-ended straight draw we flop on table 3. It's kind of one of those mid boards that the big blind can have donks probably on, but maybe not when it's this high. It's a little lower and this connected. I think this is I'm not sure about sizing here. It's so connected mid-low. Lots of equity for big blind for sure in terms of having off-pair or offsuit 2 pairs and things. Just gonna go with the half pot. King X should be pretty relevant. He shouldn't have too many King X continues. I mean, he'll have King 7, King 8 suited, and he'll have King 5 and King 9 that are continuing on that board, but it's a pretty good card for me. I think I can continue a lot, and I can actually kind of just forgot what happened here. It looks like we raised and we had to call. That's just definitely a range check for me, and King is pretty good. I will just go for medium large bet now. Maybe pot's fine. And here, I think either's fine. I'm gonna continue with this type of bet, and then look to check back a lot of rivers where we don't get straights. And top right, I'm not sure. I think I kind of like a block. I have a fish label on this player. I think block fold is fine. Nothing really came in. Maybe we can, instead of like the normal block size, we can go a little bit larger with half pot, just based on fishy profile type of person calling. I think they'll be pretty wide and don't think they'll fold too much 8x. So yeah, not sure if that is right, but I'm gonna 3-bet this jack 9 off, and then let me mark that 9's hand because I'm not really sure if that was the right play, so I'd like to run that one and review it afterwards. Ace queen low jack versus big blind here. First let me 3-bet ace jack off here. It can call too sometimes versus hijack, but just going for 3-bet this time. It's fine. Probably, half pot 66p a lot on this board. Probably this combo does a lot too. Whatever, going for the check this time. King 10 would be 3-betting versus hijack open, and then we'll be opening queen king off table 3. Versus small bet. Razor, caller, fine options. I don't think this hand gets much incentive to raise. Meaning that I think we'll just fold out like worse queen X. The only queen X we'll put ourselves against is queen 10 type of hands which have a lot of equity, so I'm just preferring to call here. And versus a small 4-bet, this is like 3x. I actually don't know. I don't know if we're at high enough stakes now where we start to play normal ranges where I think this hand would flat a lot in position, but given that I don't know that, and I think people are probably under 4 betting, even though it could be wrong because I'm new to this pool, and given an almost 3x size, I'm going to make a possibly tight fold. And then versus pot size on the river, we're not too happy here, but I think we just have to call ace queen. Not sure if that's a great argument, but not much gets there. Picks up a lot of 2 pairs, king 10 comes in, etc. But yeah, I don't think we can fold there. And I just want to look at that hand again and see what size he chose on the turn. I think it was pretty small with the ace 8 of clubs. So turn the flush draw. And so, yeah, not sure what we'll do with this note yet, but I'll just say... and yeah, I have that hand up. Let me make sure that's all I want to write down is 3-5-9, Jack Queen is low Jack versus big blind. Oh, not that guy. Let's go. And getting a little distracted with the note, but going to be pure 4 betting versus the size. I'm not really sure. Sizing wise, just gonna pick something like that, I guess. And what was the board? It was 3-5-9, rainbow, jack, 2-tone, queen, no flush draw. Now we brick, 9-3 deuce. Just think this is a board that will be going... It's not like a true 4-bet pot, just because this 3-bet size was so small, so the SPR is not set up like a 4-bet pot, so... I don't know if we play more like a 3-bet pot. If more like a 3-bet pot, I'd be going like half pot plus here a lot, maybe 66p even. It's 4-bet pot, usually checking a lot on this board, I think. Probably still preferring larger size as opposed to 25p, but we're in this weird zone where I don't know what to do. And I think I'll probably just start to shut down. This just looks like button versus big blind, so I'm going to go 55p on this type of board, or 50p on this type of board. This looks like small blind call, probably wide range, super short. Very dry board. I can go fairly ham, I think, but I think this hand enjoys checking back too. And taking showdown. We're seeing a passive line so far. Probably calling reasonable size bets versus villain. And ace king, I guess maybe we can check down and win against queen king and stuff, but not too sure on this hand. Bottom right, no reason to bluff, I don't think, or anything, so we'll just take some showdown value. And we'll just write. I'm still not sure exactly how much I want to write notes in terms of depth and stuff, so I'm gonna try Dinette, barrel, flush draw. So potentially kind of more passive person, so maybe this type of fish I won't try to, you know, induce bluffs or whatever if I have a hand, even though there's short SPR. I like to check a lot when I do have a hand in very short SPR like this, but maybe if this person is more passive, then I won't do that as much. Not saying they will be more passive just because they didn't bet one flush draw on the turn, but just trying to think about potential strategies for anything. And the ace king versus this hand in the table 2, they just had ace queen. So yeah, I guess I'll just mark it and I'll run it as a normal 4-bet pot. I haven't ran any 4-bet pots in a while, so that ace king hand, like hijack versus cutoff or whatever it was, I will just run the 9-3 deuce rainbow as a 4-bet pot. and see if I can learn anything. Although taking lots of assumptions for 4-bet ranges and stuff like that, but might as well add it to the queue. And general table check seems pretty good. We have short over here. Sevens can do anything, I guess. Probably not fold very much versus button. And I'm not calling much versus the button. I'll call versus or EP opens and stuff. This guy looks kind of fishy, which is good. And yeah, I don't know, I could totally be sample size, but I feel like I'm just getting 4-bet a lot more from the button at 200 NL than I was at 100 NL. Possibly too early to think into it, and could just totally be skewed and getting some bias stuff, but yep, sevens. I'm not going to continue there. I'm sure maybe in theory it continues 10% of the time or something very low, but not for me. I'm just going to be marking the other short stacks for now. Another area of improvement was if I can try to watch showdowns and action on other tables while like playing passively, that'd be great. Haven't gotten that skill yet. Still getting distracted a lot with having a second screen up sometimes and diddling around, so that is one area of improvement. Fours probably can flat sometimes. And this looks okay actually when we have 2 green labels in the blinds and not overwhelming aggressive stats, even though low sample size. But if I am going to flat, I think this is one of the times. And yeah, I'm not flatting much first cutoff first button, but I feel like this opportunity is decent with having the 2 wrecks there. And we'll have very trivial fold versus the squeeze here. Not sure how trivial that is when we get both calls and decent price and position and stuff, but I'm just worried about the reverse implied hands, the 4s. Not sure if that's a monsters under the bed thing, but I think I'd just like to continue with stronger range. I still have to put in 5x my initial bet and play against opponents, the green opponents, who I think are going to be quite top heavy with their squeezes. But let's see if we can get a showdown here. So they see bet, what was it? So pop before the flop was like 27, so they bet like some 30 to 40% size. Check the turn, we see a small bet on the turn from villain. I think that's reasonable. This is a board that's probably very good for the squeezer, and we don't want to polarize against that range, is my assumption why I think I like the small bet. And we see rip it in on the turn, we get set over set. So yeah, being sneaky on the left. Also being sneaky here with not 4-betting king pre versus the squeeze, which maybe, you know, maybe is an interesting idea versus these types of players. So and they didn't really jam the turn, but they effectively jammed the turn. So just be watching out for that type of stuff. And here, only one green player. Better odds on flatting. Just not going to go for it this time. I think it's probably fine to just do it once in a while. Also have not been playing with an RNG the last 3 weeks-ish, I think. Not sure if it's had much of an impact, but I've just been getting told that a lot, so trying to, you know, actually take some advice and put it to use. And so I guess trying keyword trying to make more plays based on the table and specific villain, etc. 10-7 suited is a little loose, but from cutoff, I think it is okay. And versus 4x in the big blind, ace-9 off is not going to be doing too well. Jack 2 suited is not going to get in there. And 10-7 suited, I don't think has any business calling or 4-betting, so I'm going to be folding that. We see cold 4 from the big blind. My little Georgian actions aren't working. Oh, we see like a min 5. Oh, they're 200 deep. I see now. That was fun. Don't see that too often. And ace king, the classic drawing hand. You can put in 3-bet there. Just cut off. Not BV pipping jack 5 off, nor 3 deuce off. And queen 10 is probably unfolding a lot versus 3x in the hijack, but when we see that it's a weaker player, I can consider getting in there more. And when the button calls, I'm more disincentivized to play, meaning I'm going to fold more. But given that they're both labeled as Rex, and yeah, no, that's the main thing. I'm just going to get in there. And a board, we might be able to donk if it was like button versus big blind SRP, but not in this scenario. I don't feel like it. And not doing much here besides our 6 outs. And versus that size, we're not very happy, and I'm fine to fold. Could potentially continue their risk like of 25 to 33% C bet, having the 2 overs if the button folds. I think that is okay. Probably not a big deal either way, even in that scenario. But versus half pot, I'm going to not get in there. And I don't really know how these limp things work. I just like to start out doing a lot of attacking on early streets, especially when I have absolute dust. And I'll be pretty much checking range here versus an imposition call on a 10 high board. I think it might be a fun hand to check raise. The opening jack 4 suited here. Pick up a really bad gut shot, but jack is, I don't know how I feel about the jack. He has tons of, jack 10, jack king stuff around that area, but usually he's gonna V-pip it as opposed to limping it, so I'm just gonna keep barreling and we're gonna size up now. Pocket 9s are going to go for a 3-bet, and since he goes small, ace queen now. I think we're just gonna go for delayed C-bet. And 10 is really not good for us, and versus an overbet lead, check call, overbet is pretty strong, so no reason to try to get fancy there. And we flop a set, so we will call off. And we are in pretty good shape. And versus the imposition raise, this will be an easy fold for us. King 10 off will open. Sometimes can go smaller open when there's no small blind in the pot as well, but whatever. Ace queen off. Yeah, it's, I don't know, when we bet pot and we get 3x, I just feel like there's no reason to continue with much besides made hands and very high equity holdings. Another limp pot thing, and I'm just gonna bet again. And this time can actually use some protection, etc. And I'm slightly deeper here, not that much, but I'm gonna go for the 3-bet. May have mentioned this before, but I think this hand probably can flat decent amount versus. Yeah, maybe this was cutoff open if this guy's sitting at, but I'm talking about versus hijack open. Versus the half pot lead into 2. That's weird with the limp pot and stuff, but I'm just gonna get it out of there. Here, so we have like the 4-bet again, and this is putting me in a good spot because I am not good enough yet to continue here. I don't even know what the charts say in that spot. I assume it's like mixing, but I'm just gonna play nitty there. I'm gonna open slightly larger with this going on there. What happened here? Is this a 3-bet pot? Yeah. Okay. So they raise, we 3-bet on the button. This board is quite good for them in terms of probably more set dents on their end. So check back, and this card helps us pick up a gut shot. Plus is very good for us. So I think we can start attacking, and we're probably gonna go a little larger than half pot at least. And this is another limp thing. I'm just gonna stab. Nine is not great for us. I would expect a lot of limp players to raise the 9 on this type of board. So potential reduction in his 9 density there, but I'm just gonna give up on that turn. Reverse pot size bet, we can fold. Ace 9 off is going to be too weak. I'll probably open it from the cutoff, depending on table. Be opening up Ace Queen off in the small blind. And we get a wheel board, so not one of the greatest for us, but it's not having the 5 is pretty good. I feel like he'd interact more with 4-5. I don't know if he's gonna call 3-4 off pre, probably never, whereas 4-5 he might. So we can go either way here. I think we'll have a smaller frequency on the wheel boards, but I do think we'll still have some bets, so go for larger size, and it feels good to do with the cycle holding, and probably checking back a bunch of medium strength ace-x don't have gut shots. Okay, so we see the min raise, and not sure how much of a thing it is, but we'll always give them a tag for that. And I don't think we have much incentive to 3-bet here. I could be completely wrong though if they're doing this with a lot of ace-x that they're not going to fold. But I have not studied 3-bet lines very often, and versus that size I'm a little wonked out in terms of not sure how that's constructed. Assume it's just more merged, but I'll just go through the passive line here. Planning to check call down basically. And he checks back. I'm not sure what their strategy would be with 5-6. I would assume it would be to go larger on the flop and to continue on the turn. So I think now we just try to get called by ace-x that checked back the turn. Does he have much ace-x? I think I like the medium-sized block. And ace-jack off we can raise here. And 10-9 off I will go for the big blind squeeze this time. Get a good board for us. This will probably just be a one and done. Opting to go for like 50 to 60% type of bet. And yeah, I just want to run. I think that one's fine. I'm not gonna mark that one. I don't think it'd be interesting to see how turns are played there, though. We get a limp under the gun. I'm just gonna bump it up to 4. I think between 4 and 6 is good. Maybe I can go a little larger since we're deeper here. Opening 6-4 suited, small blind versus big blind. 8-3 suited is gonna be too gangster to pip, I think. This one we're gonna check. Don't like betting my backdoor draws a lot, or my backdoor flush draws a lot. Even though good board for us, maybe betting a lot is fine as well. Top 2, this board we're probably gonna be doing. I don't know actually. Probably not betting too much Queen X on its own, and so I think we can just go for the larger size. Oh, this is like an isolation pot too, so it plays a little different. As they have a stronger range, yeah, we probably don't want to bet too much Queen X. So no reason to bet smaller with the best value. They check back. I'm just gonna attack. We have dust and don't know how much they'll protect that check back range. And here we're gonna go for the 3-bet with top 2, and we're gonna 3-bet king queen suited. And yeah, that flop was interesting for me personally, just because I like rarely 3-bet flops and not too sure how to construct. So yeah, that was kind of out of the norm for me. It's weird because I don't really expect them to fold the like decent amount of draws they have. Maybe there's a lot of gut shots that they'll fold. And the only like, yeah, it's a rainbow board. Jack 10 is the only draw that has really high amount of equity. And if they start to fold like King X merge stuff they're raising with, then that's pretty big disaster for me. So not sure how juicy the 3-bet is in the works there. Table 2, open ace jack off, small blind versus big blind. And versus that size, we're unhappy. We want to 4-bet more for sure. And yeah, I think this time we'll throw it into the 4-bet bluff range. So we'll go to 23 bigs. And that one gets through that time. Won't be V-pipping 10-3 suited. We'll be forwarding the 6 forward off. And I am kind of tired, so I'm going to play a little more, sit out these tables, and call it a night. So that'll conclude this video, and thanks for checking in.